Thanks for joining me this afternoon for my 4th live Facebook. And I have a special guest today. I would like you to meet my husband, Mr. Dr. Gene. A lot of people said we've never seen your husband, so this is my husband, John.
Hello, everybody.
And I want you to know that I don't know what I'm doing, and he doesn't understand about Facebook Live either, but we're giving it a try, and we'll see what happens. So thanks, John.
Nice to meet you guys.
Thanks for joining me. So, I have a little song for you. I like blank books, yes I do, and I have 2 new books for you. Reading, math, and science too. Blank books are always good to use. So, the 2 blank books I'm going to share with you today are the Snip book and then some little books. And if you've ever been to my workshops, you know I love blank books, and I'll tell you why. First, they are really good for differentiated instruction. Whatever skill level children are at, they have a challenge with a blank book. Another reason I like them is you can use them across the curriculum. Whatever skill you're working on, just let the children do a blank book about it. They are much more engaging and challenging than a worksheet. When you give the worksheet, you're just hitting it in the middle, but a blank book, they've got a really good challenge. Another reason I like blank books is then children have ownership. You know, I've made this book. This is my book. They're a reader, they're a writer, and one of the best things about blank books is that the children take them home. And hopefully it will encourage some conversation between children and their parents about what they're doing at school. And some kids don't have any books in their homes, so when you make these blank books at school and send them home, that's a very exciting thing to do. So, the Snip book, the first one I'm going to share with you, can be made with 2 sheets of paper or 1 sheet of paper. And when the children are younger, I would suggest starting with 1 sheet of paper and let them practice their motor skills on that, and then they can build up to doing 2 sheets. So it's 2 sheets of paper folded in half. If you've ever been to my workshops, this is my all-time favorite book because it doesn't take staples or scissors or anything. Fold the paper in half, and you make little tears about a thumbnail apart all the way down the crease stitch. So you're using those small motor skills. And then you fold forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards. So you got a pattern going there, and you got opposites going, and when you get through, you have a little blank book. Now, another thing I wanted to mention, when you make these books, start making them with a small group, maybe your guided reading group or a small math group. If you've got like 5 or 6 kids around the table, you can kind of coach them and help them with these books, and once they master it, I would do the same book every day for a week. I'd make one of these every day for a week and use it for different content. And then once they've mastered how to make this book, it's real easy to give an assignment, say, you know, make a Snip book and retell the story that we read this morning. Another thing that you can do to adapt those little books is you can use a colored sheet of paper and a white sheet of paper. And so that's kind of fun to do to get a little seasonal variation in your books. If you turn the paper lengthwise and fold it, then you have what I call a tall book. And if you cut the paper in half, you can make a little Snip book, and then you have a little book. Now, so you've got your book made. Let's talk about some things that you could do with this book instead of giving children a worksheet. First, you could use it for any phonics activity that you might do. So if you're working on the letter H, you might let them make an H book, and they can write words that start with H, they can color pictures, they can cut out pictures. Do you see the difference between giving them a worksheet and saying color the things that start with H and letting them make their own book? Now you can also adapt this for vowels. You could adapt this for parts of speech. So like, you know, your first graders, you could let them make an adjective book. You could adapt this for a lot of your other language arts standards. You could let them use this book and retell a story. You could use this in math and let them make a shape book or a number book, or write number stories or different ways to make the number 6. You know, it's limitless. You could let them do patterns, money, telling time, all sorts of things with math. This is also good for science because you can really tie in a lot of your nonfiction writing skills that you want the children to work on. I was brainstorming one day at a workshop how to use this book, and this teacher said, oh, they could take notes. I thought, kindergarten kids taking notes? But think about this. All through their school life, they're going to have to take notes. So even with very young children, to get them in the habit of listening and then writing down or drawing a picture or, just writing a letter, whatever it might be, just listening, that you could use this for notes. You could use this for environmental print. These would also be good books to send home for homework, to let the children make a book with words they can read, and you could send it home on Monday and they could return it on Friday. You could just have these blank books in the writing center and let them write original stories. Another reason I like to make these blank books, the more time children spend in front of a screen, the more we need to do these hands-on activities with them. Paper feels good. Paper feels good. It's real. It's concrete. One teacher suggested that we make a the book. And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, you know how children have trouble with the word the? We make a the book. The book. The ape. The tree. The sky. The sun. The hat. The bus. The end. You can say the or you can say the, but you always have to spell it T-H-E. So I'm sure you can think of a million other things to do with that blank book, from vocabulary to spelling words. It's just anything you could use a worksheet for, do a blank book. It's much more engaging. Another tip when you do these books, I have the children use as many colors as you are in age. Boys will have a tendency, this is according to Leonard Sachs, boys have a tendency to get a dark color crayon and just use the same color. Little girls tend to use more colors. So if you tell them to use as many colors as you are in age, then, if they're 4 years old, they have to use 4 colors, 5 years old, 5 colors. So we'll get them to be a little bit more creative and add detail with some of their work. Now, the other little book I'm going to share with you today is called The Little Book. Imagine that. So what's good about this book is you can make it have as many pages as you want. So let's say we're talking about the 4 seasons. We'd stack up 4 sheets of paper. Maybe we're doing something on the census. We'd need 5 sheets of paper. Maybe we're counting to 100 by tens. We'd take 10 sheets of paper, so whatever it might be. And you stack up the number of pages you want, and you staple in all 4 corners. You take your scissors, and you cut in one direction halfway, and then you cut in the other direction halfway, and in a New York minute, you have 4 little books. And you can also make long skinny books using the same strategy. So you stack up the number of pages you want in your book, as many as you want, and then you staple down one side 4 times. And then with this book, you cut horizontally 1, 2, 3 times, and in a New York minute, you have 4 long skinny books. Now, these are really good for going from left to right, for younger children to practice writing their name. These are also good for pre-writing strokes, just learning to make vertical strokes, practicing in horizontal strokes. These could be good for older children. Maybe you want them to write 5 sentences, 5 things that they learned from a lesson that you did. You could let them write their alphabet letters. You can let them count by tens. You can let them do a pattern. Again, there are so many different ways that you can use these long, skinny books. So thank you for joining me today. I've got a couple emails, and people said, how do we get to your blog to find out more about these things? So if you just go to my website, drjean.org, okay, that's what this looks like. And you click here where it says My Blog. You just click on My Blog. It will take you to my blog site. And if you give me your email address right here, then every day I will send you a blog and a new idea or activity. Or if you go there and in the search engine, let's say you want some Halloween ideas, or you want some things to do with leaves, or you want some things to do with making alphabet books, whatever it might be. If you put it in the search engine, then you can pull up past blogs with all that information. And I see there's something from Adam Peterson. I tell everybody I'm a dinosaur. I know lots of songs and finger plays and activities, but technology is not my strong suit. So Adam at teacherslearn2.com is going to be my new best friend and help me improve on my Facebook Live. So hopefully every time you watch this, it will get better and better. So thank you. Take care. God bless. Have a great week.